Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Cashflow Digital, sponsored by ODYS. If you are interested in age domain names that are going to give you a helping hand when you're launching a new website project, which many of us have, and me and Mike were just talking off air. Not going to say the niche or anything, but yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm coming for that niche, and everyone starts new projects, and I think an age domain name is the perfect opportunity to give yourself some kind of kickstart, because and I'm just going to kickstart this off, like, Mike, when you're looking around, always, as a hustler, as a human being who wants to make money, and you spot a niche, you can't be fucking arsed starting from scratch.
No, there's a way to get into that. Just from a basic technical SEO standpoint, if there is a way to get inserted into the existing link graph, I want that, right? And the domains that I see from ODYS are always in the actual graph for the market. Like they have, you're getting, I've seen links coming from industry speaking events. Like those are things you can't go out and get because you're not the dude who spoke there. It was the previous owner that spoke there. You can't get that. A lot of the stuff that I see come from them, if you go to Reddit and you look at the domain sorting through Reddit, you can find just tons of social activity for the domains that they pull out and then start recreating the content based on that. It's getting searched in Reddit. There's Reddit traffic all over. There's a lot of things that come with a domain, like what they pull out of the drop or the auctions, that are pretty sick, dude.
Yeah, they've got a stringent process in terms of what they're looking for, and yeah, they do a good job. Alex is a great guy and obviously done this shit for a long time, so not just trying to go buy it and all that stuff, guys. That genuinely is something I use personally myself as well. Yeah. So go for it.
Anything. This question, I think it even goes with what Flavia is asking, man. If you want to bring up her couple questions, it's like, so the reason it's that we talk about it being something super solid is so it says, how true is that those who fail online do not do the basics completely, such as good content and links? I would agree with the fact that if you do not do the basics, you're in trouble. But if you do the basics and you have a head start with a domain, it doesn't have to be a freaking $20,000 domain. It can be a freaking cheap domain if you get it from the right people that know what they're doing. And cheap, I mean the cost, not the domain itself. But do the basics on something with the link graph around it that's like the way it should be, and it will perform that much better for you. You can see it when you put up the ODYS domains and you toss content on those. And you let them age and sit there, they will pull traffic and pull rank. I'm looking at it right now with domains from there. So.
But I think as well, to add to this, Flavia, when you say how true is it that those who fail online don't do the basics completely, such as good content and links, do you guys have something over this that we don't know? One thing I want to highlight here is there is no fucking secret that we have up our sleeve. Like Mike or anyone else may use complex words and shit like that to make things sound a little bit more interesting, if you like, or that, use different terminology. We're all doing the same shit. There is no magic bullet. Well, I don't know what you don't know, but again, at the start of my career, I'm looking, going, has this guy? I'll give you a story, right? This is a true story, Mike. Matthew Woodward, years ago, a guy I looked up to, followed for a long time, had this WordPress template, and he said, guys, it was all just customized. They had a lot of work done on it. It was like the fucking blog I read every day. And he put out this post saying, guys, I'm going to fucking give 3 lucky winners who sign up for my email list 3 copies of my template completely free. So I'm on to that motherfucker. I messaged them, dude, give me that template. I want to see what's in there, because I thought I don't know what I thought. I thought there was some magic special shit in the back end of his website, special plugins, whatever. And anyway, he didn't give it away straight away. So he kept teasing everyone. So I messaged him like, dude, who won that contest? And he's like, I've had some problems. I'll announce it in the next few days. 10 days later went past. Still no announcement. I fucking chased him again. I'm like, dude, what's happened? He went, tomorrow it will be announced. I got this email saying, Craig, unfortunately, so it was an email marketing campaign. Craig, unfortunately, you didn't win. However, you can go over here, which was on, I can't remember, Theme Boy or something, and you can buy the template. And I fucking bang, bought it, $60, $59. And I got it, and I'm like, this is the same fucking jackass template that I've got, like the same back end, whatever. And I always, don't ask me why, but I was obsessed, and I'm like, this motherfucker's got something on me. He's got something I don't know about. And
pretty common, dude. I mean, honestly, though, that FOMO, that fear of missing out, like it plays to human nature. Like there's a book called The Gift of Fear, and it talks about fear, and the fear of public speaking is in there, and it's a real fear. Unlike anxiety, it's a real emotion because it's something you feel. And with human nature, we want to be a part of the group. We want to know what the group or the village has or knows. So everyone always is thinking, okay, what is this about? I want to see what this is about. Even to this day, I will still check and go grab something just to see if there's something that I haven't thought of. And typically that doesn't happen, but every once in a while it does. You got to always stay a student. But like in that case specifically, to me, if I can go away from Craig and not talk to Craig for 3 years, and I've done this recently with a buddy, come back and say, hey, talk about what we're doing. And we might be doing it slightly different, but essentially we're just all doing the same thing with our own processes. We're getting to the same place through different roads and different paths, right? For our marketing. And that doesn't change. And so they have to change, like they have to use fear. They have to use different terminology. It has to be done to make old things seem new, right? Yeah. And that's the thing, is that new people are always coming in. So if you do something that works, in 2010 and it's 2022 and you're saying, hey, I'm selling this in the landing page because it's from 2010, even if it works, you're screwed. You're not selling. Like it just, numbers are huge. Psychology is huge. And so there have to be an update or a tweak to the process to make it viable for new people and old people alike to buy that product. And it's not that people are trying to some people will try to rip you off, but it's not that people are trying to rip you off, but it's kind of like pricing shit, right? If you price something free, it's going to do worse than if you actually put a price on it. It just, at least in my experience, it always does worse at free than like $9.99 or something. Numbers are big, and I think that kind of secret, you are missing something, you are missing something. It makes a lot of people ask that kind of question about, if I'm missing the basics and I don't even know what the basics are. Someone can trick you into not thinking you understand what the very basics are. I mean, that you're at their mercy at that point. If there's a basic thing you don't know about after 3 years, like you better get on that list and buy that product, right? So pretty straight. I mean, it's true. The last part of hers was, do you guys have something over this? Oh, that's what we just answered. Cool. Right on.
Flavia also is another question. And guys, do put your questions in the chat. We will go through whatever we can. But Flavia's saying,
specifically for cognitive SEO, what cognitive SEO does a good job at is pulling out like these words that you're not going to find in other tools that should be on your page. If you're doing something around like water damage in a smaller town, and there is like something like fellowship water damage has been there for 2 decades, and it's a part of that market, then basically, if you're not talking, and Google has decided it needs to be on page, and you're not talking about that brand or that key, it's not the brand, it's actually just the word, it's just that freaking word, even though it's associated with a brand. In that case, you could say, our fellowship of clients, and get that in there. Now that's the part of cognitive that you want to pull out. It's not all of the tool, but when you pull that out with Spin Rewriter, the mashup part is going out and grabbing little pieces of content, either just directly taking the SERP content or taking content out of the pages that are ranking and putting that all in Spin Rewriter, inserting those cognitive SEO like terms but also putting that in your blacklist so that it doesn't spin those terms and any other terms that need to be there that you've done through your research. You're protecting all of that, spinning everything else. And that's kind of where you want to be with this, is you want to kind of maintain that optimization, or just spin it and go in and add the optimization later, depending on how your process is. So you can automate anything with like Win automation or like iMacros. So you can automate that stuff for sure. You just need to have an account and the tool to automate it with. They don't have an API. I don't think they're updating anything. The way we're doing it is to use the SERPs and pull it out. Like I think next week when Brad's back, we'll be talking about like a webinar series we're doing, and it's going to cover that stuff on how to get the data out you need. But yeah, I don't think you don't even have to automate it. I mean, if you're going in and you have people writing content, you literally just need to go in, throw a keyword into their bar, and then export a notepad piece, and it will give you what you need. It'll tell you exactly what you should put in there, what you should use more, and what you are using too much. And it's spot on. It's pretty good without writing something yourself.
And a few of the guys are saying that thing that Matthew Woodward done was called the Seinfeld email sequence. You ever done that to someone before?
I haven't done it like that. We definitely have marketed, but usually, we don't really market that way. I mean, try to stay as straightforward as possible, just because it's annoying to me.
Yeah, no, I listen. Massive respect for people who do it. It works. Even someone like myself falling for it. Yeah, I think everyone's got different opinions.
My issue with it in our industry is that people come in and they're new in this industry, and they end up being told to go get clients and showed how to sell people. And then a lot of the times you'll see people have sold a client and they're on Facebook asking how to do SEO, because they've been put through this kind of process so many times where they're given little pieces and they don't have a system, and now they have clientele and they can't put it all together. And so I don't really like to contribute to that part. I've helped way too many clean up crap like that, like the businesses and the marketers. So I don't really like to contribute to that kind of like, here's half information. Here's this works, but we're not going to show you how to put it in and make it work with the process. I don't have the time. I don't like it, I don't know, you don't either. So yeah, it's not there's times to use it, man. I mean, if you're doing this and there's a work at home opportunity that's just like, go lick envelopes and things like that, and there's a new way to lick envelopes, then I don't have a problem with it at all. Doesn't cause any harm.
Look at Paul Hogden here. In the olden days, which I don't remember because I'm an 80s baby. I did not see that newspaper ad, but make money.
That's why I said lick envelopes, dude.
You've done that.
That's why I said lick envelopes. I do remember this shit, man. That's funny. It was big in the US, like make money at home stuffing envelopes. You stuff envelopes and make $1 an envelope or 50 cents an envelope. Or when you answer this, I'm just telling you to run a newspaper ad telling people how to earn money stuffing envelope. Pyramid schemes are cool, right?
I've got a question, Paul, though. Did you actually do that? Did you pay the 25 quid and did you then sell it on to other people? Out of curiosity. But Digital Dex has a question. Can you guys talk about the process to building SOPs in your SEO business? So, Mike, obviously SOPs, we can all agree, form an important part where I see a lot of people who don't have SOPs. This is a massive failure in your business. So this is another thing that kind of goes round about what we say. I've seen so many people's SOPs and they're not what you think. So Digital Dex, a lot of people think these SOPs are some big fancy fucking thing. What's an SOP look like for you, Mike? Is it a video?
I have one up right now, dude. I actually was tweaking one before this because someone wanted to hand one out publicly. And so I have like a document. I use Drive, man, and they're sheets and documents with links. If there needs to be a video for new employees, there's a video for new employees. the way I do it is that I run through it. I do the processes myself and then kind of try to break that down. Usually for me, it means finding a different way to do what I'm doing because people don't have access or it needs to be a little more friendly. And it usually means like kind of breaking it down into simpler pieces for me and then finding the right tool that is very accessible for most people, right, that we would hire in our demographic or our hiring pool. And it's actually like, I'll say like the one I'm looking at, let's see, it's maybe it's a Word doc, it's a doc in Google Drive. And after editing, it is a page and a half with list and some block text and some links and imagery. Explanation is all. There's nothing huge there.
Yeah, no, I think people always expect to see. I don't know what they expect to see, because I've showed some people my SOPs before, or some of them, and people are like,
I'll show one. I think I have one I can show from a long time ago. Let me see. Yeah, let's see. It's a site process. I'll show a site process that we had. This is kind of what I do for staff, so, or whoever's building at the time. I'm trying to remember how to make a new tab, dude. Today's not a good day. There we go. Control in. All right, so this is old. So like you steal it and use it, that's your fault, guys. So. And it can be, this is actually more detailed, I think, than what we're doing now, to be honest. So share screen and WR2. All right. Like this, is it up? So basically we're just talking about like links to video and other documents if there's something that has to go through. And then, you know, I use them as checklists. You know, this is an old network and it just, you know, every task is done, boom, it's done. And then it goes into a database if we're using a database. This one, I didn't have anything like that at the time. So that basically becomes the database for a project. And we have them for like all of our social and all of our, any process we have, we'll have a spreadsheet and then we'll have like explanation training and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And once you've done the process enough, you don't have a problem like putting it on paper, in my opinion. And you can put it on paper.
Yeah. I mean, an SOP though can be done in that format, a quick video showing someone how to do something, whatever it works for you. Is the way to do it, man. So
we've done it so many different ways on different projects. Like we did a lot of figures in real estate with just Wistia videos. You know, like
yeah,
quick video. You know, record the process and that's that.
That's it.
Easy. If you're doing the work and you know how to do it, or someone else is doing it, just have them record it and then you can just even hire someone to transcribe that and throw it up. I've done that on Fiverr or at Upwork before, and whatever it was, ODYS before that.
Here's a question, Mike.
Yeah.
Or a challenge. We could maybe lay a challenge on the table. Could you rank a website using, maybe this question's for Brad. Could Brad rank a website using all those shitty Fiverr gigs that he bought in the past couple of weeks in 30 days?
Brand new?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Like what I'm seeing right now with everything that we've got rolling, like I'm looking at something in the finance space that's doing very well with just that in the first, 2 weeks. I think really if you can get the crawl, if you can get the content and the crawl like into Google, you can take the ranking. Where is this one? What is it? Yeah. And let's see. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks like yes. The answer is yes with the Fiverr stuff.
So Sackling, how to rank a new website in 30 days, all comes down to a couple of important things. getting the right gigs from the right people, of course. You know, but I'm pretty sure the guys are not just buying some random bullshit on Fiverr. They're going to specific people who are clearly very good at specific things. But that is how easy it is to rank a new website. If they can do it in fact using Fiverr gigs, then you know you should be able to do it using a bit of basic knowledge and experience, which I think you've got since you've been in this show a number of times. So you should have at least basic understanding that you're going to need content, links, and some form of fucking website.
I mean, really, if you get the right stuff on the page, and then you kick into gear, go and hire someone to put the social up and tie up everything around the site, and you have content up, and you did that research right, you should be pulling long tail pretty fast. You might not go after something like Monkey Slot or something, one of the games or something like that, but it does. The money's not necessarily right away in the large keywords anyways. Like, I always want to tackle the large keywords right away, but that means you're doing that right. So you're taking all the traffic underneath it as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of like optimize for the big one, but make sure you're optimizing properly and you get the other traffic. We talked to someone, they're like, you said 30 days or 60 days or whatever. And, but it doesn't take that long for Google to do it. And we're like, no, we don't necessarily say it's going to take 30 days, but there's just a lot of factors. Like, if you come in and, like with Flavia's question, if you leave out, if you forget to go, you just write an article and you don't optimize it properly and you don't go back in 2 weeks and tweak it, then you probably aren't going to get as much traffic as you would have got, if not any, right? If you do a good job optimizing at the beginning and go in and you don't tweak it in 2 weeks, you'll have more traffic than the other one, but not as much as if you went in and tweaked it in 2 weeks after you had data. So yeah, it's just a matter of how much you
do. Anyway, Paul Hogden did pay the £25 for that letter, and he did also sell that shit on to someone else. So fair play to you, Paul. Flavia, why do guys like you millionaires do this every week? Is it a Patel syndrome, or maybe we don't know how important awareness is? Why do you do shit like this, Mike?
I don't get to talk to anybody that does this where I live whatsoever. So the only people I talk to are the people I talk to at work and staff and my partners, and I enjoy Craig. And I actually like helping people. I really do. That's the only reason that we do NFG, for 2 reasons: is to help people, and then also to find people to work with. Because when someone comes in and they're not confident in a campaign, I'd rather have them come and do it with us than turn it down and have someone that doesn't know what they're doing, that's incompetent doing it, and we'll all make money.
At the end of the day, I think it does go back to probably our initial learning phase, Mike. We didn't have this where we could just go onto YouTube and watch shit when we were learning. So I always feel like, I would like to give back and help people make the journey shorter than I certainly did, because I made a big meal of it. It was really difficult in the early days to learn, because you were relying on forums and shit, which is where I learned a lot of stuff, and there was also just a lot of bullshit on there. So the giving back is more important to me than anything. People ask me often, do you make a lot of money from your YouTube channel? Nah, I don't. I really don't. But I have a laugh. I get to talk to other guys. And of course, we all have a bit of an ego, and we want to see our names out there a bit anyway. And I think just raising awareness that, we still know what we're talking about and stuff like that. So I think awareness, a bit of fun, and also giving back to the community is the reasons I do it. People ask me why do I speak at conferences, because I don't really have anything to sell. It gives me the opportunity to have beers with guys. And have
100%, man.
I don't have to do it.
It's a breath of fresh air to sit down at a table with 10 people and be able to talk shop, and people understand what the hell you're talking about. But
also there's other things, Mike, like when I go to an event, I come back pumped, and it keeps my motivation going to keep making money, tweak my business, the money that I'm making. You know, if I talk to someone like yourself and, you know, we party and have drinks and we have a lot of fun, I still come back out of that super pumped going, I need to beat this guy, or I need to level up to this guy, or he's doing this super smart thing. So I think, you know, just motivation to keep going in life, if anything, is
Well,
what.
that's what this week, that's what I think the YouTube thing can be as well, because I know for me, like, it gives me a reason to go in and actually dig into what's happening to other people and look around. And, you know, like, honestly, man, like, like, when I'm having a bad week, my wife straight up just says, go out and like do something for someone else. And every time I do that, that shit actually turns my week around or my day around. So there's a big thing to be said about making money if you are spending your time trying to help someone else rather than chasing it yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a big believer in that kind of thing, and the law of attraction. And I think that you are going to do better in life if you're out there and you are treating others in a good way and trying to help the people around you. I mean, I can't tell you how many times people have come back and said, let's do this because I gave them a handout, or not a handout, a help up when they needed it. Yeah. And they don't forget that, dude. And I'd much rather have people out there that are like, okay, when they think of me, like, oh, dude, this guy was really good about this, let's do this together, than someone being like, not knowing me or being like, whatever, dude, you know, you didn't help me when I needed help.
Yeah. So. There's a lot of reasons, Flavia, and it's not just to hear the sound of our own voices is the point.
And I've woken up many a day where I was doing really well one day and I had nothing the next day. So that happened a lot at the start, you know, do really damn well for a few months and then it's dry for a few months or whatever. And I've been in situations where people have saved my ass out of things, and I'd like to be able to do that more for people, to be honest. So,
dude, I had this very conversation with a boy I met in Spain at the weekend. So I went out for dinner with him on Sunday. Young chap, he's moved to Spain. He's from the UK. He's doing a lot of the GMB shit, which is obviously getting harder and harder and harder. He's losing 20 he lost 20 GMBs on the Sunday. What he's done, he started off on a really low level. He's getting £20 per sale. He's not even doing it per call. So me sitting down and helping that guy, saying, dude, you need to value yourself more. Yeah. Go into better niches. Do not accept a deal where it's per sale, because what if that motherfucker doesn't answer the phone properly? What if that guy can't sell shit? Your income cannot rely on that kind of garbage.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that little talk, I'm hoping, and the guy left going, Craig, you've given me so much food for thought, just different angles, different shit. And this was a guy at his first ever SEO event. And again, I didn't have to do it, but it's the right thing to do. Help that guy. One day that guy may come back and help me massively. Do you know what I mean? And but I left there going, do you know what? I've done something good. I've hopefully given that boy something that will help him level up. And the guy is really good at GMB. See all the black hat GMB shit and all that. The guy is really good. I actually passed him on to a friend. I'm like, this guy's a monster. Do your very work for him. Potentially he's going to win work with this guy. This boy lives in the breadline, relying on suckers paying him £20 per sale. That is how he's living, and it's not the right business model.
And tweaking that out for someone, it's I have a situation like I can think of different people throughout the years that I saw come in, and either they had nothing at the time or they were working good jobs, but they wanted to do something and have more freedom. And I can remember people calling in tears that were NFG members like, dude, I just lost all this. I'm like, well, let's look at it like this instead. And you still have this right here. And some of those people are just buying different homes every month and buying real estate all the time now with the money they made off of their GMB stuff, the money they made off of different markets they're in. And to see what just little thoughts can tweak in something into success. Like the opposite side of it is coming here, talking to you and reading the comments. Someone might say something that I haven't thought about or makes me think about a problem in a different way. And that's going to make me make more money. Like if you go into a hole and you don't talk to people and you don't network and you don't try to help them, one, you can go out and try to just take and take and take, but eventually that doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? Now, if you go out and help and help and help, it continues to come back, you know? And so that kind of thing. I remember one event I was at, it was a book launching for a very big name in the industry. And this kid it was a recession. There was no jobs out there. This kid had a job, and he comes out. We were all in dinner in Vegas and talking, and business is booming at the time. This kid comes out and he's all pumped because everyone's doing well. And he's like, I'm going home. I'm quitting my job. I'm doing this and that. And I looked at him. I said, dude, do not quit your job. Go out and hustle and work. When you come home at night, start making money with this stuff, gather the clients, do this and that, sell the leads before you do. And what I tell people is before they walk away from something, try to have like a year of that revenue so you are safe. Like, I didn't do it, but that's what I say. They usually get to 6 or 7 months and bounce, but it works though. And everything fell apart like the next week, or it was like 2 weeks later, and dude messaged me. He's like, you're the only one who told me not to walk away, pay for this shit and do it. And if I had, I would have been screwed right now, you know? And like, so you gotta help people, man. You can't let them fail and flounder. You just got to offer the advice when you can, and you'll get it back.
Exactly. Flavia, I don't know if we answered this. Above all things that are talked about online, is there something above the best content that covers the topic and some best links? Maybe the link graph link?
So I mentioned link graphs and things. So if you look at Search Engine Journal, I think if you do a search on like link graph or something like that, I think you'll have some stuff come up. Let me check real quick. But if you do search around link graph and spams and stuff, you'll find stuff like right here, reduce link graph, a way to rank links. There's a bunch of stuff on Search Engine Journal over the past, 5 years or something that are worth. If you haven't been around for a long time, like, I would recommend not just reading current news. Like, this stuff, it changes, but it gets modified. It doesn't go away. Like, so when you talk about basics, if you really want to geek out and learn things, like those kind of sites have gems in the past, So yeah, but on that note, I think Palmer has a video that he talked about, like link intersect tools. And that's a great way to get inserted. If you're not going to go out and buy a domain or something from like ODYS and you want to start from scratch, then you need to go out and do it the hard way and try to get yourself in the link graph. Go out and find out who's linked to from where and go get those links, like go get what you can get in that profile already, rather than seeing, okay, they have these links and it's all DA, this or that. Don't go out and buy the link first. If you can go out and actually find the same link as your competitors, and they're tier ones, the same tier twos as your competitors to those tier ones, that is the link graph, okay? So you can build this and look at this particularly well in Majestic, and that's one of the reasons I love the tool, because you can visualize the graph and you can start to see the patterns. And when you go out and you grab those links that are already linking in that space or a closed space, you are getting into the link graph, just like if you bought a domain. That is why buying a domain is such a freaking benefit, because like that little thing in there where ODYS says like it's worth this, link profile is worth this. It's not a joke. Like, that takes time to go out, do the research, or hire someone to do the research and go out and get the link or whatever. Like, that is the benefit of buying a domain or drop catching a domain, for sure. I think learning a drop catching system or having a tool like ODYS is a great way to go, because you can skip some of that. If you can't skip some of that, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot if you just don't run a quick link intersect or a neighborhood check on Majestic. They have it on every freaking link tool. You can do it. And just go in and compare and see the common links, and then go another layer and compare and see the common links and get those.
Christian Gray said he learned web design in Yahoo groups back in the day.
Dude, yeah. I was that douchebag back then with like bots for MySpace, bots for Yahoo Answers, and just pop, 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 pop. Like, I loved those days. Those days were fun, man. I remember when everyone shifted to Facebook, dude. I was like, damn, dude, I built a lot over here. It's time to shift. MySpace, man, was freaking money, man. That's cool.
I'd love to go back, see if I knew now what I knew back then.
Stupid.
It kills me. It kills me. I lose sleep over that a lot.
I left so much money on the table, dude. If I look back and see the things I did wrong or didn't do, and it's just like, okay,
just didn't open your eyes to properly. You're just sitting there like a fucking gormless douchebag, like boo. You just didn't know any better at the time. But
you know, it's like that. It's kind of like that. That Google employee that was saying, "Don't buy links over where you were at or whatever." And that can be good advice if someone's brand new and they don't know SEO, just because they could go do something and get ripped off and be sold something shitty. Once you have the knowledge, it no longer becomes a problem. And there was times where I didn't have enough knowledge to do certain things, and I regret it. I look back, I'm like, damn, I wish I had seen that for what it really was at the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of funny, but you can't regret, you know, it just is fun to look back sometimes.
Yeah, it is. Never look back. Flavia's saying, don't get me wrong, all my successes are from Craig and Palmer's channels. Mike is a bonus.
Chris does a good job, man. That dude will sit down and dump out knowledge in a work session, you know?
He beasts out some videos, man. Beasts out some videos. And as I say, I love his energy.
Great.
David Hennessy, did you guys notice any websites that use helper tools like Suffer SEO getting hit during the May core update? So did you see?
I don't think necessarily a symptom. I think it is a coincidence in a lot of what I've seen, in my opinion. The thing is that they shifted a lot. Like you can see, like I can look at a site and look at the data. Because when we pull it, like when I look at it, I have it color coded. Like if it's missing from a page, I can see like what's missing from a page, and I can very easily look at a domain and say, okay, this has all this right, and then this big chunk right here is in red, which means they're not talking about this topic, but every other top ranker is, and that literally means that they shifted the understanding of the SERP usually. And so a lot of the tools that were pulling data like that or whatever, this is why I was mentioning, if you don't go and optimize in 2 weeks, then you're leaving money on the table. If you do use a tool, like a great tool like Surfer, because we use it, our employees use Surfer quite a bit. And if we didn't do our processes, that tool would not be as effective for us. Because we wouldn't be back in there and fixing something. So the ones that I saw that were hit are other people that didn't fix it. They're still like sucking, like losing traffic. The ones we've tweaked back to be on point are doing well, like they should be. So it's just important to remember that, you know, it's optimization, not publish once and forget about it. You know, if there's a shift when these cores are happening, I actually kind of agree with what Google says. It's like a lot of the times in this case, there was a big link thing. There was a big internal link structure thing that happened. And that's kind of what we're going to go into, like in the webinar series starting next week, I think, is when it's going to happen. But that was one of the big things that I did see that wasn't related here, but the ones that were related here, actually, I would say it actually kind of ties in. So yes, we saw this, but I'd say it's more the process than the tool itself, and what the tool's doing, if that helps.
Mike.
Oh, you got one, dude. Where's mine? Yeah, dude.
Do you do much in there?
What's that?
So Christian's asking thoughts on SEO and marketing in the metaverse and virtual world. Do you think this is going to be a big thing? Like, obviously it's shit for now, but here's the thing, right? Ryan Durrani, who's a regular in here, and so we all bought, so in my mastermind group, a whole bunch of us were, I think someone says, you know, the metaverse, blah, 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 blah. About 10 of us all bought these fucking headsets, and we're in there, and we were at a Billie Eilish gig, and we were fucking just trolling each other. And then Ryan Durrani's like, dude, I've got this office in my house, and I can do my keyword research on this shit and all that. Like, and I know it's a bit of a gimmick just now, but do you really think?
No, it's the future, dude. Like some of the stuff that's going on right now, like there's people that are are actually banking and vaulting. Like, this is the adult industry, so excuse anything I talk about, but they're banking like a young couple will like they'll record themselves doing it, having sex, whatever, and it will be stored in a bank for use with some of the toys that are out there that are tied to the VR for when they're older, that they can come back in at a younger age. Like, it is going this direction. And when you start to see the adult industry start to do certain things, you can pretty much, if they stick, they're coming to the regular industries, because that's where it all starts anyways. And I will say that I have traditionally used multiple on multiplayer gaming for marketing in certain industries, and it works extremely well. I did it in adult a lot back at like the turn of like 99 to 2000 in like Counter-Strike and those like first-person shooter multiplayer games. I was using those as advertising platforms, and you can get very creative. And I'm telling you, like, the digital stuff is there is a lot of money right here, right now, if you get into it. Just like voice, man, just like AI digital, like devices, the research you can do with devices and the way you can market to devices, there's ways to turn your websites into much more than just a website with WordPress pretty freaking easily and be a part of all of this. So I would start, like, if you're serious and you're doing legacy business and you're building businesses, look into all of this, because it is going to be a thing.
I am trying to get my head around it, understand how it all works, but yeah, I think it's something that is very much of interest to me. But we'll see where it goes.
See how much people spend their time on Facebook. If they can throw a headset on and be dancing, like some of the stuff I've seen on YouTube, that the people that spend time in these places, it's crazy, man.
It's insane. Although the one thing I would say, and I want to ask your feedback on this, like, I was on that for an hour one night, and dude, I took the headset off and I had to go for a lie down. I was fucked.
Yeah,
like, fucked. I think it takes a bit of time getting used to this shit.
Dude, we got it for Christmas for the kids, right? And we're in there, like, there's video of me like I busted my hand, bro, like playing with my like kids and stuff. Dude, literally punched the corner of a desk, like a wood desk, and then like hit the ceiling fan. But yeah, no, it my son can do it for like maybe 3 or 4 minutes before he gets sick. You know, it tears me up too. Yeah,
it's not good from that perspective. But hey,
they say you get used to it, but I don't know if it's something I want to get used to.
Nah, I'm going to be one of these old guys that are like, fuck that shit. Like, let's just meet for a beer.
Yeah.
But hey, got to keep our hands in. But anyway, digital decks. If a blog post is ranking in spots 5 to 10, how to get them to position 1 to 3? Content's great. Would you recommend adjusting the meta, the title, to increase CTR, more links, or more content?
The first thing I always do is look at the page, and I look at what the page is, how it's optimized, always first. And then that also talks about the internal structure. Like, I would focus on site first, make sure you have everything you mentioned that you need for that market. And you can do that for pretty straightforward processes, and make sure you are talking about everything, because you will find, like, Brad, like, we had a local campaign, and I did some analysis after Brad pushed most of it, and he was stuck. I think it was stuck like on page, or no, it was stuck down at the bottom of 1 or top of 2. And then I looked at it, and there was just like a few words missing, like a few things needed to be mentioned. And once those were mentioned, it did what it needed to do and took 3-pack and took organic. And so I would start there. But then also at the same time, we're also pulling link data to make sure that we have what we need there as well. So in general, look for the optimization, and then look at the link profile, and kind of like what we talked about. If you can like do like a comparison, look at the people that are above you, try to find any commonalities in their backlink profile and grab those if you can. It'd be a good spot. And then I don't do CTR. I don't like to fake CTR personally. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's not something that I focus on. I know you do, but I think it's like crack, dude. I'd rather do it with advertising and actual traffic. But I can't say this. We don't bot, is what I'm saying. we do use traffic.
I'm not suggesting you have to bot, right? But if you've done everything that you've just said and you're still sat and say position 5, I need more traffic, I need more engagement to get into those top slots, I wouldn't recommend botting at all. You know,
No, absolutely not.
Real traffic to that fucking page.
There's certain industries like Discord traffic is amazing in certain. There's certain traffic types for different industries that work extremely well for this.
Yeah, but you've got the likes of Quora ads, Facebook ads, push notifications, mailing lists, drive people from your YouTube onto the page, whatever the fuck you have to do. I think CTR is really important.
It's very important, especially for the top of that, because of the way that they build the SERP. And so let me rephrase and we'll be very clear is I do not bot. We do advertise our websites and we might cleverly send traffic from one place to another without them clicking sometimes too. So there are things you can do at the event, and we're going to talk about this, I think, a little bit like in the next few weeks. We were talking about profile-based SEO, and that's really where we're at. It's like the relationship between one market and another is no longer just like, okay, the content's topical relevancy. What is the profile of the user like? And if you can get the profile that you need onto your website, then you can use traffic from different industries to do this for your website, depending on certain things. So,
hey, look at this. Anyway, hopefully that helps you, Digital Dex. Flavia has made an online business making over 1 million USD. And obviously with ODYS, they make over $250,000 in 6 months. So Flavia is clearly working hard, taking on board. But the thing here, and I don't know Flavia personally, so I'm not, I don't know how accurate any of that is. But I've no reason to disbelieve it. But what Flavia would be is someone who takes action. And that is the biggest thing you can do. Is
also, and what I will say is I don't think I see a week, even just on this show, where Flavia is not paying attention and asking questions, which means that's probably happening elsewhere. So that's a lot of thought, a lot of study, a lot of implementation, and that is how you grow in this industry.
So Flavia,
good job.
Good job, yeah, and that is remarkable if you're doing those figures. Just remember my commission. But taking action.
When I'm on the corner asking for money, give me a quarter.
Thinker, if a domain has dropped and has a GoDaddy sales page for the last 3 months, does it still retain its page rank? I've heard a lot about aged domains versus expired.
I wouldn't worry about it. I'd put it all back together and just go. Eventually, those links are going to get clicked on most likely, and they're going to reactivate if they're not active at that time. That's not going to disappear. That's like, I wouldn't worry too much about it personally. What are your thoughts, dude? I mean, I wouldn't let it happen. I don't want it to happen, but
I think
go ahead.
You're spot on what you say. Like, just put it back the way it was. This shit happens all the time. Domains have sales pages or just go dead for a certain period of time. So they can still be revived. So go for it. But the thing I was going to ask you, Mike, is if push came to shove and someone said aged or expired, what is your preferred choice, if there is a preferred choice?
I would always want something that I could catch that was live at the time, just because it's got data. You have to wait to kick in old console data if you do certain things, and I want that console data to just kick in as I be there. So I would prefer to say buy it and have them hand it to me and take a live site myself. Again, that's what ODYS, the auction stuff, can do that as well. So, yeah.
Jared, penny clicks on MySpace. Were you into
I miss 5 cent freaking Google clicks, man. 10-cent and 5-cent Google clicks, dude. Those were freaking amazing, man. I was making like a penny, or like I was making a $1 for 10 cents, man. And I missed arbitrage from Google when it was really cheap, dude.
Yeah.
Good money.
Paul Hogden is making a reasonably passive income. The old boy was in web design and has now taken action and does his thing. So another success story. And Paul's also another regular in all of the shows. And I'm sure everyone has contributed. Michael, linksforyou.com is a good source to buy links. Buying links and not getting ripped off, Mike, I know you're also, a link supplier of some description. Now, what types of links would we be? There's different links out there, Michael. So you've got your guest posts. Some people sell edits and guest posts. Some people sell fucking tiered link building, edits and guest posts. And all of this stuff is required. Edits are cheaper than guest posts, but edits are what they are. And you just need to make sure that you're not buying from a middleman. Mike, may sell links, and he's obviously experienced enough to make sure he's getting them at the cost price. But so many times in here, in this industry, you see people, maybe selling links for $100, but some other guy selling those links for $400 or whatever. You just need to avoid that middleman and go to the root vendor.
So when you get it's like talking about edits. When you get edits from somebody, if you're getting like all the same kind of thing, it's probably not real. Like a lot of the times when you build a profile like that, you're going to get something that's complete junk and trash.
Yeah.
And you're going to get something that's worth like $300 or $400, $500, right? And there's some things that people forget, that you need to actually look at the links at 6 months and 10 months, because a lot of the stuff that you'll go out and get in public, it will be gone in 6 months, and you'll have huge link loss, more so than what's natural. So there's a lot to think about. But if I were to go out, didn't know anybody, wasn't building links, and I would say go to like Craig. I would say go somewhere like that where you have seen someone who has their face in the public and will put their face behind it or whatnot. If you can find that, that's kind of where you're going to want to be.
Yeah, because obviously you get a reputation to try and uphold, and shit like that. There's a lot of faceless link sellers out there. It's a great point.
There's not a great way to secure yourself in that case, other than honestly like trying to do something with a legitimate company or like a legitimate brand or person,
Yeah, people should do buy into people. Anyway, Flavia stays in the trends. And all that stuff. Christian Grey just attended a virtual wedding and changed my thoughts a lot on it. A virtual fucking wedding.
I was in virtual funerals over the lockdown and everything,
Here's the thing, right? I heard the dude saying eventually, and I don't know if this is a thing, but you can buy virtual real estate. Now, I can't and it costs the same as real estate in real life. I can't get my head around why the fuck you would buy, say, a $200,000 property that you can't physically sit in or touch. Like, that's insane to me.
What's interesting is I read an article and it was talking about jobs that are going away, and they did say that the real estate agent is a dying breed on that article, that the AI is going to take that over. That's one of the industries where AI is working on. They're working on replacing agents at this point. Now that works in like major cities and certain places, but like when you're out where I'm at, like that's just not going to happen. No one's going to go out and get that information. Yeah, it is all in the SERPs. It's 100% all in the SERPs. Thank you, May. I should say not May. That's the old name I used to call her.
Flavia, CTR depending on what you call CTR and depending on when you do CTR, depends on whether it sticks or not. If you do everything and then you get yourself into position one organically, you get all the CTR you need to hopefully retain that position. If I was sat in page 2 or page 3 and I send traffic to a page, it will go up there, but as soon as the traffic stops, it will fucking drop back down. So that is where what Mike said in terms of getting in, continually to optimize 100%, continue to do the very best you can with everything else, and then work in the CTR.
So Google, this is why when people say like, let's track a rank, let me see the keyword. What's the keyword ranking? Like Google day parts, Google will split test. They will know if your page does well with this at 7 a.m. or 9 a.m. or a different page does better, and they will change the SERPs for people based on different profiles and timings, and it does happen. And so that's why what Craig says is right. Like if you're up in a place where you really don't deserve to be, like they're going to know very quickly, and they're going to put you back where the data says. If you're up there and you are supposed to be there and it works out and their metrics are right, you're going to stay there because they're going to make money having you there. Like they have to provide a good result to make money. That's how they do it. So they curate our content for us, right? And if they do allow nonsense to be up there, they lose money for their shareholders.
Exactly. Flavia has been in the industry for 20 years, so still tweaking, learning, taking action. Regardless, Flavia, you've done a grand job, and even if you have been in this industry for 20 years, that's even more remarkable for me because you're a regular, and that's probably why you do so well, because you keep on top of the game. So fair play. Maeve saying Mike is the most genuine, helpful person in SEO. Absolute legend. Just see you, Maeve, and Mike is a top lad. And as I say, I can't really say anything bad at all about Mike, or otherwise we wouldn't be doing the show. But we are obviously still in touch after meeting for the first time 3 years ago.
That's been a while now, dude.
Which says it all, really. You meet someone, you're just like, yeah, do you know what? You're the same guy, and do shit. So there are people that put their faces out and help others. There are people that tick a lot of boxes for me. But
so this is I really like what David said here, actually, and I really like the part that he's talking about the Ngram processing. I'm not going to nerd out on this, but like what Flavia said and what we talk about sometimes here about looking at the SERPs. This is why, and 100%, dude. I agree. There's like we'll see like in a lot of our gaming, like our casino stuff, and some of the other restricted markets. Like we had to tweak quite a bit on certain languages and different things because of similar things here. So there's a lot around that Ngrams. Like if people don't understand what an Ngram is and what that is used for, that's a good place to research if you do like to research and understand SEO at a deep level. It's not necessary. You can go get a process and work it. You don't have to run off and shiny like object this thing. But this is, we've written like tools in the past, and they're WordPress plugins that will register domains and build links and content. And they use this kind of thing to actually build the content out of the mashups that we're building out of these things. And Cognitive does some stuff here. There's just different things around this. I think there's something there, man. I do. And that's why you're seeing certain shifts on markets and people like losing traffic. And then when they fix it, coming back, because you can actually scrape data out of Google and use it a certain way and then go do an Ngram analysis of the page. And you're almost going to be word for word. Like you're going to be right. Like it just, you can see it match up. And I'm sure you've done stuff like this and tests like this, but you really can see all of this come together and match up. So yeah, it's in the SERPs. If you're matching the people in the SERPs properly and staying on top of it, you can avoid a lot of having to know some of the deeper knowledge and some of these things like this kind of patent that we're talking about. So
the patents, the good old patents.
They're only worth it if you like them.
Dude, I fucking hate. I don't have the brain capacity to sit there and do it, man. Hats off to anyone who.
There's an Australian dude that it was wicked, and some other people too. But I love, like, I'll sit there and like it will be an all night thing. I just enjoy it. I enjoy understanding it. I enjoy looking at where they're going and what they're doing and seeing how it matches up to gut checks and shit. But the only reason to go in there is when you really want to check something. Like if you have a thought that you think something's going on, you could go in and get some clues there. Oh, they did talk about this. Maybe this is the case. Like we don't really know what they're doing, what they're using all the time, but we can kind of check our gut checks sometimes with them. I don't recommend like reading them all the time at all if you're not into it.
Nah. Corey did a video on authorship recently. Interesting. Nothing new there, really, though.
No, there isn't. It's not a new thing. I mean, this was really addressed. See, the thing is, Medic was a core update, and May was a core update, and you start to see the same things talked about with every core update. You know what I mean? Like, it's more simple, I think, than what it gets made out to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll go check out Corey's video, though. Corey's smart. He hung out with some really smart people when they were still alive, too. So I don't read his stuff or follow him, but he's somebody that I would sit down and read an article from for sure.
Yeah, that he seems to know what he's doing. But yeah, authorship, all that kind of stuff is really important. And SEO is not for everybody, you're right. But on that note, guys, we are out of time. But do check out ODYS. Do check out nfgseo.com /
Buy your link graph at ODYS.
Yeah. ODYS is the main one, though. But we will be back at the same time next week with B-Rad is back next week.
Yeah, Rad's back, and I think we have some stuff to announce or something too, dude. So
announcement next week, guys. I will hold these guys to it. But
yes, you will.
On that note, guys, please do leave a like in the video, and we will catch you at the same time next week.
Thanks, everyone.